Welcome. You've found your anchor at the crossroads of power and presence. This is Musings and Modalities. It's time to move beyond the noise and cultivate a legacy rooted in values-aligned leadership and earth energy. We've evolved the conversation, bringing you a grounded perspective on embodying true luxury and beauty in your life and work. If you feel the resonance of truth and are ready for the shift, you are home. Hi, everyone, and welcome to Musings and Modalities. I'm Tristan Stwicky, and I'm so excited for today's episode entitled Why Your Merch is Boring with Amanda Hofman. You've spent decades building a life that looks successful, but you know your profound legacy is meant to be far greater than your current output. Exhaustion and overwhelm are blocking your path, and the cost of staying the same is too high to continue. This 12-week one-on-one Musings and Modality Container is the definitive strategic framework designed to eliminate burnout and anchor you into your most impactful decade. This is the energetic and strategic makeover required to claim your next level. This includes radical clarity, where I'll design the exact blueprint of your legacy and implement a values-aligned strategy to build it, ensuring every action aligns with your true purpose. This includes unshakable authority. Well, you'll exchange the need for external validation with grounded self-trust, positioning you as the leading embodied authority you're meant to be. And this includes measurable transformation, where we dismantle the exhaustion loop that drains your profit, your vitality, and creates a clear, accelerated path to high wealth, health, and expansive relationships that you've been working for. With only 3 exclusive slots available, this opportunity is reserved for those that are ready to commit to their quantum leap in impact and income. You can book your legacy call today at musingsandmodalities.com and step into your true power. And now I'd like to introduce Amanda Hofman. Amanda is the CEO and co-founder of Go to Market, a woman-owned branded merchandising business looking to revolutionize the way the world handles swag. Before Go to Market, Amanda was the founder and CEO of Urban Girl Squad, the premier social networking group for women in their 20s and 30s in NYC. Amanda lives in NYC with her husband, her 2 dogs, we'll have to cut that, sorry, Emily. 3, 2, 1. Amanda lives in New York City with her husband, her 2 kids, and rescue dog, and loves running, racing, cycling, and bike touring. Welcome, Amanda. I'm so excited for our conversation.
I'm really excited to be here with you.
Thanks. And I definitely had a chocolate milk before this. I feel that. Like voice is a little all over the place.
Well, I'm
It's,
coming out of a cold, so I
oh
think we're in the
no.
same boat.
We're both
Yeah,
like in this
my
energy. We
voice is
will
like an octave lower than normal, so
all good. We will raise the energy or raise the vibe.
yeah.
And it's so incredible that you've gone from, building community with Urban Girl Squad to really building community with branded merch. I feel like there's so much overlap in this. And so, how did you kind of see that connection? How did you take those same skills and pour them into the products that you kind of co-create with companies?
Well, I really love how you phrase that question. And when you sent it to me, I was like, oh, that's so beautiful. I've never quite thought of it that way. That the goal of Urban Girl Squad was to create in-person connections between women in a way that wasn't just like a gross business card exchange. And now my whole goal with branded merchandise is to deepen is to use merch as a way to deepen the relationships between brands and people and to help people connect better to the values of a company or a community that they're already involved in. And so it's interesting. It is kind of the same thing, but like completely different modes. And I think the best explanation for that is probably that Urban Girl Squad was born before I had kids. I created it, starting in my late 20s, going into my early 30s. And, um, I was going out all the time in New York City and I was like looking for those kinds of opportunities. And then I sold that business just before my second child was born. And my life changed pretty radically, like no kids to mom of 2 is like quite a big lifestyle change. And when I was ready to go back to work and create something, I ran Urban Girl Squad like my life depended on it. And I ran it 24/7, like wake up in the middle of the night, write down ideas, like talk about it all the time, which is, I'm not hating on that. That was like really served me at that time and I loved it. And then once I had kids, I was like, wait a minute, I'm more than just this business and I want this business to be like a beautiful part of my life, but not the be all end all. And so moving away from events events are very much like on fire all the time, to something that is a little bit more like stable, steady, um, reliable, and also just something I'm personally excited about. I've been excited about my whole life. I'm always the girl in the merch shop, the gift shop. I always like to wear the things that I feel like are representative of the things that I love and like my identity. And I like seeing it on other people too. It's the ultimate conversation starter. So I think I appreciate the way that you connected those two things for me.
Oh, I'm so glad. Well, it's also because I'm also the person in the gift shop. I'm someone at the end of visiting a zoo or aquarium. I'm like, okay, like what can I get? I want something tangible from this experience
Yeah.
that feels still represents me really well, but also represents like this beautiful thing I got to do.
Yeah, you want to hold on to that feeling. And I think that's what we coach companies about, right? It's like, how do you get the people in your company world to hold on to the good feeling that they have with you and to like extend it, keep it longer, make it deeper, really make it work for you for everyone's benefit, right? Like it's better for the people who love you and celebrate your business, whether you're like a coach, an author, a speaker, or whether you have a physical product or a community or even just like a legal service. There's still some good there, right? That we can turn into something tangible and make it a bit more meaningful and long lasting.
Absolutely. And I know sustainability is really key to your work.
Hmm.
And part of that is making sure that we're not just throwing a logo on a cheap item that's going to end up in a landfill. And I know
That
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 work
is
because,
everything to me.
yeah,
Yes. Yes.
absolutely. And so, how
So
have you worked with brands to get past that kind of
yeah, I
mindset?
mean that's like the foundation of our company. I think that so many people look around at the merch world and they're like, this is landfill garbage and I hate it. And the younger people are, the more they hate it. Like the hate is real to the point where, my kids are 12 and 14 and they despise waste in a way that like our generation doesn't like it, but like the younger generation is just like repulsed by it. So like just the idea of seeing like a mountain of like pins or like, you know, a conference room full of plastic water bottles is like actually repulsive to people. So there's the wasteful part of it, but it's also like the idea of like slapping your logo on lots of things and just like throwing it out into the world is like really antiquated and doesn't do what you think it's doing. So it's just a waste. So what we teach companies to do is think about what makes them special, what makes them unique, like really harness their values and their vibe and we translate that into branded merchandise for them. You can do it on your own if you are creative and thoughtful about this. But it's really just about like most people's default is the way that branded merchandise was done in the 1990s, which is just like, here's a polo, here's my embroidered logo on it, and like that's what branded merchandise is. And it's like that's not what it is anymore. We can do it more sustainably, we can do it more creatively, and we can give people choice.
Absolutely, especially having print on demand. It's not like there are warehouses full of sweatshirts and sizes no one needs, or
Yeah, you
something.
should really not be warehousing branded merchandise unless you are sure that like there's proven demand for something. So like with print on demand, everything prints as it's ordered. So you can give people, you can create a website, which is what we do for our clients. You can create a website that's just like, hey, here's like a women's cut tee, a unisex cut tee, here's a non-wearable. Just like a lot of options that people can go on and be like, I want this really tight fitting thing in a size small. And someone else might be like, I want the really loose fitting thing in a size large. And it's like everyone can wear something that feels comfortable on their body.
Yeah. And I also, what I've loved about our conversations together and our work together, is that yes, I do know my customers, but I know them from a service perspective. I don't know their shopping habits. And that's a very
Yeah.
different experience, especially when you're a service-based business and you're like, oh, the thing I thought that was going to sell well actually is maybe not the top seller. And I know that you've gone through that a number of times with your clients.
Yeah, and really giving people a choice is a gift to say,
Mhm.
like, I don't think that I know what is going to fit you or what you are going to like. I think gift giving on a personal level is just very different than gift giving on a company level. And, when you're a small company, sometimes you blur the lines a little bit and you're like, well, I know my clients really well. And it's like, it's just still different from a personal relationship. So, like, giving your sister a gift card is like a little cold, like kind of you should know better, maybe. But like if you're a company and you're giving something to like 20, 30, 100, 200 people, like you're not going to please that number of people all with the same thing. It's impossible. So like letting them choose, and by the way, also letting them opt out and saying like, I'm on a journey where I'm like not having a lot of stuff, or like I really love this brand and I want more than one thing, right? Like letting people choose their own adventure with this is a gift.
It is, especially because with the opt-out, right, there's this element that they could donate, or could you talk a little bit about
Absolutely.
the other options that people would have?
Yeah, so we love to have a donate to charity option so that if you're giving, let's say, a holiday gift or like an anniversary gift or an onboarding gift, and it's like, hey, welcome to our company, whether they're, a client or a team member, it's like here you can get all of this stuff that's branded and really cool. Or if it's just not for you, let's say you're like downsizing your home or you're like going through a life transition or for any number of valid reasons, somebody may not want your merch, you can say like, hey, donate $100 to, this charity that is meaningful to both me and the company. It's like that feels great.
Absolutely. Yeah, people move all the time, all of that stuff. Absolutely valid. And so when a brand is really starting fresh on their merch strategy or they haven't had one before, what's kind of the first thing that they need to figure out to make it feel authentic?
Yeah, so we start all of our partnerships by doing a deep dive on the brand. And I think that most people say, like, oh, I've got a logo, so now I've got merch. And we like to say, take a step back and say, like, what is important to you? What is your brand's personality? Right? So, like, if you're like a quirky weirdo and you're like a consultant, and I say weirdo in the most loving way, people are hiring you because you're a quirky weirdo. So, like, your merch should have that element to it. Or if you're like very serious but like passionate, like we have a financial planner who's a really passionate political activist. And so her merch is like politically oriented and it's like anti-capitalist. She's one of my favorite clients because
Aw.
she's so passionate. And so her merch is that, right? But I think people are thinking like, oh, but I don't want to alienate anyone. They've chosen you already. They've bought into you, your style, the thing that you're putting out, they have picked up already. So like your merch should represent that special piece. And the more you water down the merch, the worse it is for your brand and for the people who get it. Now, because we're doing print on demand and it's sustainable, you can have a wide variety of things. So, like, not everyone wants to wear like a bold statement on a t-shirt, but some people might like it on a mug, or they might like a quieter design that still reflects your vibe. So, like, having a variety of options is something that I always recommend as well.
And I feel like you're really great about knowing this is a relationship where you're growing with the company, that as their merch needs change. So, for instance, in their initial engagement with you, if they're like a little hesitant or maybe not showing up fully and doing their own inner work, you're still working with them year after year as they get more bold or they get more confident in this space. So, if you could kind of talk about that transformation that you've seen with clients.
Oh yeah. So like one of the most fun things that we do is so we launch a merch store, but then we work with our clients on an annual basis. So we see what works. Which is again, we operate very differently from traditional branded merch companies that are really more like you buy more t-shirts, we make more money. That's not how we do it, right? Like we're a partner for you. So in that first year, we see what your audience has responded to, we see what they're choosing, and we see what message resonates the most. And it's always like a beautiful thing to see like what people flock to. And we take that and we grow that into a new line, a new collection, like new ideas. So like the proof is in the pudding, essentially. Like if you start off like slower, but like maybe you have one product that's a little bit more like colorful or out there or weird, and everyone gets that weirder one. That's the evidence and the confidence you need to be like, okay, I can go a little bit bolder. Or maybe the other way. We definitely have clients where people really like the boldness of the person in charge. But when it comes to something they actually own, they really actually just want like something small, something simple, something embroidered, and like all valid, right? Like
Yeah.
there's no wrong path. It's just we like to look at the evidence and say, what is your audience wanting? And let's build for that. And because it's print on demand, you're not going to have a closet full of umbrellas or like weird sizes or stuff that is no longer in style, right? That's actually a piece that hasn't come up yet. Trendiness is an important part of this.
Yeah,
So like the style of clothing that's like in style is going to look really good with your merchandise. And that's really fun. Like if you can wear something that's like fashionable that is also branded, that's like the coolest thing. Most branded merchandise is literally just a unisex t-shirt or a polo. And it's like it doesn't have to be that way. And granted, I know I'm talking about like sustainability. Something that's trendy may only last for like a year or two, but better that than like a unisex t-shirt that gets thrown in a drawer or thrown out or donated to Goodwill or used as a rag, you know?
absolutely. No, that makes so much sense. And I know that in addition to kind of having the storefront, you have business owners wearing their own merch on stages. So if you could kind of talk about the journey that it's been with that as they've been really embodying, using their own merch as their new business card.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's one of my favorite use cases. So, we're all operating in crowded fields, right? Um, Authors, speakers, coaches, especially, marketing professionals, finance professionals. I really can't think of a field that's not, it may be AI, but even that is crowded. It's crowded. It's hard to differentiate yourself. So I really like to use one of my favorite use cases of the merch is to develop something that is specific to the team or the CEO, whoever's really producing the most content, for them to wear that's sort of like bold, that really summarizes their message, their personality, and their values. So, like, for example, I am wearing my Merch Mentor shirt. I have Merch Boss, Swag Boss, Merch Mentor, but like Merch Mentor is really like, I feel really good about this. So, I'll say in two ways. One, you'll never see me online not wearing something that says merch or swag, so that my face and those words are always associated in people's minds. And the other thing is everything that I am wearing is saying something about who I am and what my business is, right? So like I'm wearing like a trendier style right now of a tank top. It's not like out there and crazy, but it's like you kind of clock that there's that you clock the bigger picture of things. So this is what I like for my founders, for them to say, like we have an author who wrote a book about the role of Black women in history,
Mhm.
and we made her the shirt that said "The matriarchs made me do it," and it's in all of these like African American skin tones, and it's really beautifully designed. And when she wears that, it's like I just think it's a really powerful statement, right? It's something that people feel really emotional about and they feel connected to. So when you're wearing on stage, so like there are a bunch of use cases of this, but we have a speaker on empathy and he has a shirt that says empathy, it matters. We have another one who speaks about style and confidence. And we made her shirt that says trend resistant. Those were for their TEDx talks. It's just a really nice, like at a glance, you can very quickly understand what it is they're doing and help them stand out in a crowded field.
That's so incredible. And I don't know where, in our conversations we'll continue, but it'll be interesting in the print on demand space, the level of customization and like how far that goes, where it's like, oh, is it more dresses? Like I love like a 3/4 length sleeve and a dress, and that's not always moving away from the unisex t-shirt, as we think
Hmm.
about other fit styles. I think that's really exciting to think about. Or even the moving away from ill-fitting, very like and moving toward very tailored clothing that really
Hmm.
works
Hmm.
with you, which is also really lovely. So in the print on demand kind of space, as you're my expert in this, like, is there anything that you're seeing in 2026, 2027 that you're excited about?
Oh yeah. I mean, there's this new company that I love that's in the print on demand world, and they have all of these really trendy shapes and styles, and they're printing on things that I've never seen printed before. So maxi dresses and long skirts and tennis skirts and like baseball jerseys and basketball jerseys and like collared tank tops and the stuff that you might not necessarily want, but it's like nice to know it's out there and it's a fun way to experiment, right? So like you might be surprised by what people want. So it's just nice to give an option of like, You want the unisex shirt? Like, look, the unisex shirt is the most popular t-shirt in the world for a reason. Lots of people actually like it. There are just some people who don't. And so if you can give somebody an option, like a lot of women who are my clients and in their world, they want a V-neck t-shirt.
Absolutely.
And they feel really passionate that they want the V-neck t-shirt. We can give them a V-neck t-shirt. And that's not revolutionary, but that's not like when a company is printing like tees for everyone, they're not printing a V-neck, right? So like if these women feel more comfortable in a V-neck, like let them have a V-neck and feel comfortable wearing your merch. Isn't that the most loving thing that you can do as a company is to give somebody something that they're going to feel good in?
Yeah, no, it really is. And I wanted to talk about when's the kind of the best time or a good time to invest in merch. As we think about like, I feel like it's like website, business card, there's kind of this. So talk to me in the process for like the newbie business owners and those that are more established where you feel like it's most effective.
Yeah. So, I mean, as a merch passionate person and lover, I never think there's a bad time for merch. There's only one uh, time I would say that you need to wait, and that is you do need to have your logo and branding in place because we need to create like one visual look. Now, does it need to be absolutely final? No. Does it mean that you can't change it down the road? Also, no. But you want to have a sense of generally what your colors and fonts look like and what your logo looks like. Once you have that, merch is a fantastic way to grow and gain visibility and again help carve out your niche in a very crowded space. There are hundreds of thousand people out there doing merch, right? So like but like many people on LinkedIn I'm the only person they know who's doing merch. And it's because like I am sticky in the way that I show up. I'm always showing up with something that says merch and swag. I'm talking about it in a really fun way. I mean, that's like just more general branding. But when you're coming up as like a marketing executive or like a fractional operations person, right? Like what you wear and how you define the way you're differentiating yourself from the world is actually really powerful. And wearing like business casual, you're just going to blend in. We're trying to not blend in, but like not in a way that's like shock and awe, in a way that actually communicates your message. So I think that it's a fantastic tool as you're growing. And if you are established, it's a great way to reward all of the people who have been along with you along the way, right? Like if you're established, you have a whole pool of people who love you, who have given you money, are hiring you regularly or hired you in the past, and like let them wear you so that you stay top of mind. And that's like a referral engine. And that's like a
Absolutely.
social media like activator. Like merch is a way to, it's a tool. It's a tool to like direct energy, traffic, attention, money, time towards the things that you want them on. So if you have like a workshop coming up, if you have a new coach offering, if you have a new podcast, if you are writing a book and you want energy on those things, like incentivizing with merch is a really fantastic way to do it.
Especially when you feel quality. And I know we've talked about sustainability, we've talked about a few elements, but when you pick up something and there's a quality to it and the
Mhm.
packaging is beautiful, the inherent trust I have in a business just increases, right? And I'm sure you've
Yep.
seen this time and again with your clients.
Yes, and conversely, when a company gives you a legit piece of garbage, you kind of feel bad. Like it doesn't feel
Yeah.
good to have that. And I think that that's something that like companies miss. They're like, oh, it's a gift. And then I'm like, you gave me like a piece of plastic that I need to figure out what to do with now. Like nothing feels worse than like putting the packaging, the wrapping, and the thing itself like in your recycling bin.
Yeah.
It's
Oh,
gross.
it is. It so is. As we kind of wrap up our conversation, I wanted to talk to you because you've had two totally different businesses that are both incredibly successful. One sold, which is a huge accomplishment, and also having this incredible personal life and training for races. And so, as you think about kind of the biggest lesson you've picked on how to stay true to yourself and embodying that and the things you wear, how you act, if there's any kind of wisdom you wanted to share for the audience today.
I mean, it's a little bit generic, but I think you need to pay attention to the dread.
Mm,
Like when you feel dread towards a task or when you feel dread towards like like when I worked in my corporate jobs before I started my first company, like every morning was like, oh, okay, I have to go do this today, right? And it's like when it was time to sell my first company and like things just started to feel really not aligned, like, I would go to these events, these women were like talking about roommates and like all these like totally normal things to talk about at that stage. And I was like leaking breast milk. I was just like, my head was just in a different place. And I felt like out of alignment and kind of told me like, okay, it's time to sell. And, getting in tune with that, with like what is bringing you dread, um, has been like an interesting compass point for me over the years.
That is actually such a great thing to note because I've had conversations with women this week about they've recreated the life they had under corporate, and so they
Mhm.
have been ignoring that dread. And even I've took my own action where I was supposed to go to a networking event this evening, and I'm like not into it. I'm just like, nope, I'm not gonna it's honestly small time. This is not the stage I need to be at, things like that, very similarly. So, no, I think that's so important because anytime the cost of your time, your energy, your effort is what triple often when you continue to do things you dread.
Yeah, and it's not like a one-off, like, oh, I felt it this time. What I think what I mean, and a place I want to clarify is like when you feel dread regularly about things, like it's happening every morning before I go to work, or it's happening like every time I'm about to get on a call with like this person or like this client or like doing this type of task, or you I'm sure everyone listening knows exactly what I'm talking about. They can think of something immediately that's like, oh yeah, I have dread about like that thing. And like you probably know you need to change it, but like over months or years even is when it's like, okay, especially because these huge changes, it's not about like what a little thing like, oh, I'm not going to go to this thing tonight, and not to belittle that at all. I think that's a fantastic choice. But when you're talking about like selling your company, changing your job, like something huge, I think it's those like weeks and months and possibly even years of that, of your body telling you no,
Yeah.
or like this is wrong, that it's time to pay attention.
Definitely. And to that point, this has been probably the fifth in a series of me going like, I don't want to be in these rooms and like why do I keep signing up for them?
Right.
And so
Yeah.
now it's
Good
like
point.
the final like you're really just this is not where you enjoy or shine. So stop
Yeah.
doing it.
Yeah,
So
just stop. It's okay. It's okay. Permission to let
incredibly.
go of that, right? Like I had that with some networking groups that I was in. I was like forcing myself to like engage with the online networking, like on the online piece of it. And it was dread every time, every time. And it's like, you know what? I'm just like not even going to add this to my to-do list anymore. Like, who needs this?
Yep. Oh, thank you so much for today.
Sure, yeah.
Where can the audience find you? Is there anything upcoming you'd like to share?
Yeah, so you can find us anytime. Go to market.studio is our website. I am most active on LinkedIn. You could find me there. Just remember Hoffman has one F. And yeah, reach out on LinkedIn. I will respond to you, or go to our website, go to market.studio.
Thank you so much. And thank you all for watching Musings and Modalities. You can tune in the second and fourth Thursdays of each month at 3:30 p.m. Pacific, 6:30 p.m. Eastern for more episodes. Thanks for listening. Thank you for tuning in to this week's episode of Musings and Modalities. The truth has a resonance, and if you felt that today, I invite you to subscribe to my channel. Be sure to share this episode with anyone ready to step into their legacy.